Today's topic is ATM adaptation layer. AAL is responsible for isolating higher layer protocols from the details of ATM process. The adaptation layer prepares user data for conversion into cells and segments the data into 48 byte cell payload. Finally, the higher layer above the ATM accepts user data and arranges into packets and handed it to the AAL. This is mainly because ATM is used for transmitting voice and video systems in which a very fast delivery is more important than the accurate delivery. To fill this gap, ITU defined an end-to-end layer on the top of an ATM layer, which we are calling it as AAL, that is ATM adaptation layer. The use of ATM technology and services creates the need of an adaptation layer in order to support information transfer protocols which are not based on ATM. This adaptation layer defines how to segment and reassemble higher layer packets into ATM cells, and also how to handle various transmission accepts in the ATM layer. ATM layer is divided into two major parts. Already we have seen while studying the ATM networks in a previous videos. Then the two major parts are convergent sublayer and segmentation and reassembling sublayer. First, we will see about convergent sublayer. The convergent sublayer is used to prepare data to ensure the integrity, provide standard interface to the applications. It also consists of two subparts that are service-specific convergent sublayer, where an application-specific subpart. And the second one is common part convergent sublayer, which is common to all the applications. The function of each of these parts are protocol dependent, but can include message framing and error detection also. It is also responsible for accepting bit streams and breaking them up into 44 to 48 bytes for transmission. The lower layer of AAL is segmentation and reassembling sublayer, that is SAR. This is used to segment the payload into 48 byte cells, and at the destination reassembles them to recreate the original payload. It can add header and trailer to the data given to it by the CS to form a cell payload. These payloads are then given to the ATM layer for transmission. At the destination, SAR sublayer reassembles the cells into the message. The main difference between SAR and CS is that SAR sublayers is concerned with cells, whereas CS sublayer is concerned with messages. Next, we will see the goals of ATM AAL layer. It is used to provide services to application program and also assembles at the destination and reassembles them at the source and reassembles at the destination. The main services provided by the AAL are segmentation and reassembling, handling of transmission error, handling of lost cell conditions, and also timing and flow control. The next slide shows the classes of AAL layer. In AAL, you are having 4 classes of services, that is 1, 2, 3, and 4 have been defined, which corresponds to the 4 classes protocol. The class 1, that is class A, matches a circuit emulates, that is, it establishes a virtual circuit capable of transporting that would come from the circuit and restores the output the same circuit. We use this class to carry uncompressed telephone speech. The conventional telecom operators have such protocol to serve all circuit applications. Next, class B. Class B corresponds to the transport of information that would type circuit starts, but that would have compressed so that the flow rate become variable. This class carries applications with timing constraints such as class A, but with the variable flow. It contains all the applications of telephone speech and compressed video. Next, class C and D, which allows to transmit without adding any additional functions except possible and error checking. Next, in this slide, we are comparing about class A, class B, and class C with respect to the time synchronization, bit rate, connection mode, and the types of AAL, protocols of AAL, and the examples. The class A, already we have seen that class A is used for circuit emulation, class B for compressed videos, class C for frame relays, and class C for SMDS. The connection mode of class A and class B, class C are connection oriented, whereas class D is connectionless. The bit rate of class A is constant, whereas the bit rate for remaining class B, class C, class D are variable. The time synchronization is required for class A and class B, whereas it doesn't require for class C and class D. Next, we will see about types of 8 AL protocols. AL protocols have been defined by ITU-T. It means that this AAL will mean a variety of needs. The classification is based on whether the timing relationship must be maintained between source and destination, or whether the application requires a constant bit rate, or whether the transfer is connection oriented or connectionless. The types of AAL layer. AAL type 1 supports constant bit rate, synchronization, connection oriented traffic, whereas AAL 2 supports time dependent variable bit rate of connection oriented and also synchronizes the traffic. The class 3 or 4 supports variable bitrate, data traffic, connection oriented, asynchronous traffic, or connectionless packets data also with the additional 4-byte header in the information payload of the cell. AAL type 5 is similar to the AAL 3 or 4 with a specified information header scheme. This AAL assumes that the data is sequential from the end user and the user the payload type indicator bit to indicate the last cell in the transmission. Here we are combining type 3 and type 4 because class C and class D, when you're comparing class C and class D, both are similar. That's why type 3 and type 4 are combinedly called as type 3 by 4. The next slide shows the header format of all the AAL protocols. The first is AAL1. It is designed for constant bitrate traffic. Misordering is very bad in AAL, that is because of the sequence numbers. The convergence sublayer indication, here you are using CAS bit for 4 successive cells. Synchronization, residual timestamp for clock recovery for structured data transfer. When CIS is 1, the 8-bit pointer to first byte of payload, 0 if no pointer for partially filled cells. AAL1 has 1-byte header contains a 3-bit cell sequence number to detect missing and misinserting cells. A 3-bit sequence number protection like checksum allows correction of single error and detection of double error in sequence number field. 1 bit for parity, even parity bit. P cells used when message boundaries must be preserved. Pointer field is of 1 byte. It is used to give offset of start to the next message, or higher order bits is reserved for future use. Next is AAL2. AAL2 is designed for variable bit rate for video and audio purpose. Here, the payload is of 48 bytes. The header is of 5 bytes. AAL2 was originally support a variable data rate bit stream, but it has been redesigned. It is now used for low bit rate traffic and short frame traffic such as audio and video. Here, in previous slide, we have seen CID. It is of 8 bits field, defines the channel of the short packets. And sequence number is of 4 bytes, which will act same as AAL type 1. And the cell type is also of 4 bits. The length of the header is of 6 bits. Here you are using CRC to check the error detection and error correction field, which is of 10 bits size. CRC is used for error correction and detection also. Next is AAL 3 and 4. It is designed for data 3 and 4 were merged. The connectionless or connection oriented. Connectionless or handled independently, whereas connection oriented may be multiplexed. Here, messages are stream mode. Message-oriented protocol provides block of data. Stream-oriented protocol provides a continuous stream of data present in fixed size blocks. The block may be as small as 1 byte or 1 block per cell. Next is the frame format of AAL3. In cell format, first is segment type, which is of 2 bits. Segment type for message framing. You are using it for message framing. If segment type is of 00, it is said to be in middle, that is continuation of message. If it is 01, end of message. If it 10, beginning of message. If the segment type is of 11, you can say that single segment message. Next comes sequence number SN. The sequence number SN is used for detecting missing and misinserting cells. The next is multiplexing ID. That is identification is used to keep track for which cell belong to which session. Trailer consists of LI, that is length indicator. It is used to indicate the payload. The payload size is of 44 bytes. The last comes SCRC is of 10 bits. It is used for cell checksum. And also the upper convergence, the upper format shows the convergence layer PDU format, where the first part is common part indicator, the next is begin type, buffer allocation size, payload, pad, alignment, end tag, and length. Here CPI. The CPI defines how the subsequent fields ought to be interpreted. The values at present is 0. Sorry, the value at present is 0. Next is begin tag. The value of this flag is repeated in each cell to identify all the cells belonging to the same packet. Next is buffer allocation size. The 2-byte buffer allocation field tells the receiver what size buffer is needed for the coming data. Next, alignment. The 1-byte alignment field is indicated to make the rest of the trailer 4-byte long. Next, end tag. The 1-byte end tag field serves as an ending tag. Its value is the same as that of the beginning tag. The last is length. The 2-byte length field indicates the length of the data unit. Already we have seen segment type is of 2 bits. It is used to identify the position of the segment in the message. That is, it is in beginning, middle, or the end. SN, this field defines the sequence number in order of the bits. The next is multiplexing ID. The 10 bits multiplexing ID field defines the cell coming from the different data flows and multiplexing on the same virtual connection. Length indicator field defines how much of the packet is data, that is not padding. CRC, the last 10 bits of the trailer, is a CRC for the entire data. The next shows the AAL5. AAL5 is designed for data traffic. The less overhead bits compared to the AAL3x4. It is simple and efficient. No per cell length field, no per cell CRC. This is the frame format of AAL. AAL5. AAL3x4 provides comprehensive sequencing and error control mechanism that are not necessary for every application. For these applications, the designer of ATM has provided a fifth AAL sublayer called a simple and efficient adaptation layer, AAL5. AAL5 assumes that all cells belong to the single message, travels sequentially, and the control functions are included in the upper layer of the single application. In this frame format, the first one is user payload. It is user to user. The field is not used by the AAL itself. It is available for a higher level for its own purpose, like sequencing or multiplexing. The length field tells how long the true payload is in terms of bytes without padding. Its value is 0, which is used to abort current message in midstream. Next, CRC. It is a standard 32-bit checksum. The message is transmitted by passing it to the SAR sublayer, which does not have any header or trailer. Instead, it breaks the message into a 48-byte unit and passes each of these to the ATM layer for transmission. The main advantage of AAL over AAL 3x4 is the much greater efficiency. AAL5 has a slightly large trailer or the message of 8 bytes. In this, again you can see CPI field that is of 1 byte. It defines how the subsequent fields are to be interrupted. The CPI field is called as common part identifier. The first field, user payload field, is used for end users. The length is of 2 bytes. 2-byte length field indicates the length of the original data, and CRC, the last 4 bytes, are for error control on the entire data unit. This is about AAL5. Thank you.